Hi, I'm Mike Violette, and welcome to Espresso Engineering. Today, our very own Cocoa Bean takes your questions from the field.
I don't know beans about, I don't know beans about, I don't know beans about that.
Hi Espresso, George Longfoot from New Mexico writes, I don't know beans about immunity performance criteria.
I want to welcome Steve Koster to the show. Steve, would you answer the question of immunity performance criteria?
Sure, Mike, I'll try and answer that. The performance criterion, that's a pretty good question because a lot of people get confused. But there's three basic performance criterion. There's performance criterion A, B, and C. And in the information technology equipment standard, they talk about the different requirements for these performance criterion. For example, performance criterion A is for all of your tests that are simulating a steady state type of phenomena, the radiated immunity, the conducted immunity, things that are going to be there all the time. So they obviously have to work during the test. So for performance criterion A, the unit has to work as intended during the test. Because, you wouldn't want to be parking close to a television station, for example, and have your unit not work. Now, when you get into the other tests, the ones that are more transitory in nature, like the ESD and the surges, then you can go to performance criterion B. Performance criterion B allows for some degradation in the unit operation, if you will. It'll allow it to have little hiccups because, these surges are transitory in nature. They're not always going to be there. Some of them carry a lot of energy. So performance criterion B allows for some of that type of thing to where you can have a little glitch as long as you self-recover without any user intervention, and you do not have any loss of stored data or change of operating state. So performance criterion B, again, you can use that, or that is for the transitory type devices or transitory type simulations that you can, as long as the unit self-recovers, you can be fine. You can have little glitches. The performance criterion C, on the other hand, that is the performance criterion for when you do interrupts. For example, you turn the power off for 5 seconds. You can then bring the unit back up and have user intervention to get the unit to operate correctly. But for performance criterion C, you're allowed to have some user intervention in order to get the unit operating correctly. Because if you do a 5-second interrupt, for example, you may have to reboot the system. You may have to type in some commands in order to get it back into its normal operating state. This is allowed for performance criterion C. Basically, as long as it comes back up and operates with user intervention, you can comply with the performance criterion C. So in summary, again, the performance criterion A, you really have to work as intended during the test. You can't have very much degradation at all. Performance criterion B, you can have some degradation during the test, but it has to be self-recoverable, and you cannot lose stored data or change operating states. And performance criterion C, you're allowed to have user intervention to bring the unit back up operating correctly. Hopefully that's answered the question. Back to you.
Thanks, Espresso. That's hot information.
I don't know beans about, I don't know beans about, I don't know beans about that.
And thanks for watching Espresso. Engineering served hot.